Ladies and gentlemen of the deep dark web, welcome back for a brand new video. I'm your host, IcyVolk, and today we're back to talk about something brand new announced by Google at the Game Developers Conference. Stadia. It's a new gaming platform, cloud-based. Supposedly allows you to output video games from your internet instead of your gaming rig. An interesting concept, innovative, but will it be executed correctly? I doubt it. I'm hoping that it'll be done right. However, I'm not sure if I would be one of their consumers yet. I still have my personal gripes with this Stadia thingamajig that was discussed at yesterday's yesterday or 2 days. Yeah, I think the press conference was about 2 days ago. But we are going to be listening to the entire press conference. And we're going to be putting up with all of that mumbo jumbo, the jibber jabber that they're going to be spitting out of their mouths on stage. So that is why I have brought a big black cup of caffeine of brown nectar so that I can preserve my sanity. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump right in and analyze the video itself. Mature rated. I thought this was supposed to be a family-friendly platform. Apparently not. I don't know, Google's always been on brand and thought they were pretty mainstream, but the press conference is mature rated. I'm not sure if CEOs are supposed to use curses and urban language, lingo, in their marketing mumbo jumbo, so this concerns me a little bit as well. Also, this goddamn motivated graphical animation is just riveting. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. I'm just waiting for the actual information to come in. Oh, hi. Oh, it's Google. I get it. Yes. The lovely Google. Okay, let's go. Let's see this. I get it, I get it. Stadia, we're heading for the stage, the stadium. We're going inside the baseball arena. We're going in a cove. There's people waiting for us. It's a fucking stadium, I get it. I get it, it's a gladiator arena. Crowds are waiting for us to go out there and give Google our money. Gather around. It's time to give Google some more dollar bills.
To the stage, the CEO of Google, Sundar Pichai.
Sundar Pichai. Here we go. What do you have to tell me, Sundar? Oh, people are on their phones. I thought this press conference was supposed to be interesting and
good morning, everyone.
Enrapturing. Oh, good morning.
Great to be here. Thank you all for joining us.
It's afternoon for me.
I suppose I should start out with a confession. I'm actually not a big gamer, though I do play FIFA 19 quite a bit.
Confession, I'm not a gamer, but I play quite a bit of FIFA. I thought gaming was inclusive. You don't have to be a hardcore gamer to play video games, but apparently, you know. I mean, well, technically, like sports games aren't real games, right? If you play FIFA 2018, you should be pretty ashamed of yourself.
Also play Ashes.
Also, don't play mobile games.
And for those of you
if you're a real gamer,
cricket is,
PC
like
is
baseball,
the way to go.
But better.
PC Master Race.
Another little known fact is that Google makes arguably the most played game on the internet today.
If you're going to be at a press conference and you're recording from your phone, don't be at the press conference. I don't know if you're a family member's friend or if you're just some kind of geezer tooting it, but why? It's not a concert. You're not recording a celebrity. It's not an AC/DC concert. Take your phone down. Okay? You're on your fucking phone all day, every day.
The biggest impact of gaming is how it pushes us to make big leaps in computing.
Oh, they bought Assassin's Creed Odyssey to promote it. They are paying Ubisoft a fuckload of money.
All of you are pushing computing.
And Ubisoft gladly accepted. What a surprise. Triple 8 Evs.
Google, we've always believed
accepting
that technology should adapt
shitloads
to people, not the other
of
way around.
moolah
We've been building
from a
towards
big
this vision for
beast,
some
aka
time.
Google.
For example, when we launched Chrome a decade ago,
thankfully for Ubisoft, Assassin's Creed Odyssey is a pretty decent fucking game
for web applications and bring the power of web to everyone.
I haven't played any other Assassin's Creed, but Odyssey is not bad at all.
Like high-quality games.
I would actually recommend it if you're diving into the series.
In fact, over the past
Except my computer can't really run it while I'm streaming, so that's besides the point. I don't want to talk about it.
And last fall, we launched our first public test with Project Stream. As some of you guessed, a technical test wasn't the whole view of our ambition. It was probably the worst kept secret in the industry. Internally, we were actually testing our ability to stream high-fidelity graphics over a low-latency network. We learned that we could bring a AAA game to any device with a Chrome browser and an internet connection, using the best of Google to create a powerful game platform.
Okay, I gotta pause this video for a second.
And when we say best of Google,
because if they are able to stream a video game from their internet, then their internet must be probably one of the top grade internet that they have set up for themselves. Maybe it's their own Google. I mean, like, I would assume that it's Google Fiber, right? That they have set up for the sort of testing that they do. But first of all, not everyone can afford Google Fiber. Not everyone has Google Fiber in their area in the United States. And so a lot of American consumers, not myself, I'm actually in Canada. Thankfully, I have fiber optic internet. But for the people that are associated with Comcast or Spectrum or any service internet provider that throttles their internet, they're all kinds of fucked. I don't know who they're trying to appeal to, these CEOs that are on stage, but we'll figure that out as we listen to more of this
our custom
clown
server
fiesta
hardware and data centers can bring more computing power to more people on planet Earth than anyone else.
Yeah, notice on the map over there near the title of the video that there aren't that many, like there are still a bunch of service providers missing in America there. So it looks like Canada itself has more centralized internet providers than America has.
Today,
it's
we are in 19
in a certain way,
and
but
in over 200 countries and territories, connected by hundreds of thousands of miles.
yeah, look at that map. Look at that. It almost seems like Europe has more internet providers or a internet centers than America. If you compare it, and then you have Canada where you have a bunch of internet providers on the east-south side of the continent of the country. Sorry, I gotta go back to geography. Clearly, continents. What are continents anyway, right?
With Google,
it's all the
games
same.
will be immediately discoverable by over 2 billion people on a Chrome browser, Chromebooks, Chromecast.
None of these people on these pictures look like a gamer, okay? These people aren't real gamers. They're all filthy casuals.
All the people playing and watching games across YouTube and Google.
A real gamer has a Mountain Dew bottle on one of his hand and a bag of Doritos in the background. And they play from PCs, not Chrome devices.
Collectively,
not from a tablet, not from a phone, but from a goddamn motivated computer. That is a real gamer.
$110 billion over the past 4 years alone. And we are
Let us brag about how much money we've made with our partners.
So now we
bought partners. We bought people so that they could sponsor us and we could sponsor them back.
And when we say for everyone, we really mean it. One of our
building a game platform. So this is their biggest draw so far, is the fact that Stadia is meant for everyone out there. You don't have to be a casual gamer or a hardcore gamer to be able to enjoy Stadia. So, but if you're a hardcore gamer, you understand the intricacies and the difference between a streamed video game versus a game that's being outputted directly from your gaming rig that you have probably custom built it, right? If you're a hardcore PC gamer, you know that input lag is important, that high internet bandwidth is important if you're playing online games. If you're playing single player games, you only have to rely on your PC, right? If you have to have a pretty high grade video card for the most part, solid CPU, right? Lots of memory in there, but the idea of playing a AAA game in 2019 from your internet, unless you have a very high bit rate, very high upload download rate, if your internet happens to be inconsistent depending on the day of the week, if you live in suburbia and you don't have high grade internet there, you're all kinds of, you won't be able to use Stadia. So this is not for everyone, but they want to market for everyone. So I would say Stadia is probably meant for everyone that lives in a metropolitan area. And even then, I mean, not everyone can afford, fiber optic internet or internet that is stable. So, and then, in certain parts of America, like I said, they throttle your internet depending on your ISP. So, they'll do it on purpose to get you to spend more money on their service. And so, it's kind of ironic that Stadia is being live streamed and presented at GDC, which is an American press conference show floor, right? It's a convention in America, which is known to have some of the scummiest ISPs. So this is all kind of funny to me so far, but we'll see. Like at the end of the day, it's all about the execution, right? These promises are interesting and they're all shiny, these new features in video game development, but at the end of the day, if the technical execution isn't done well enough to see an advantage in the investment of Stadia, then all of that development is not going to matter, right? Google is just wasting money at this point. This is only either appealing to people that are rich or that live in metropolitan areas that have a stable ISP.
Be it Android or Chrome or AI, we are dead serious about making technology.
Again, people recording with their taking pictures of a fucking conference.
Games, there are a lot of barriers.
Are you not there to listen?
For users to play high-end games.
Hello?
Beautiful graphics really need high-end consoles or PCs.
Yes.
And games don't have instant access.
Yes, but
think about,
like I said, if you rely purely on internet to output those beautiful graphics, the moment you see a jitter in those graphics or the animation of the game itself is when you know that your internet is, not good enough to keep that stable, high quality image on from the video game that you're playing being maintained. You're not gonna. I don't know about this Stadia thing.
the way the web works, you can easily share a link and it works seamlessly. We want games to feel that way too. Instantly enjoyable.
We all want video games to feel seamless, but
I think we can change the game by bringing together the power and creativity of the entire community.
I don't know about Stadia.
People who love to play games, people who love to watch games, and people who love to build games. That means all of you. We are really excited.
If I want to watch games, I'll just go to Twitch or YouTube. I mean, watch YouTube. But if I want to play games, I'll play from my gaming rig because I know that I'm not going to lose my, my seamless experience. I know that it won't depend on my internet because I know that my gaming rig is there and it's working. And I've hardware tested it, right? Most likely, but the idea of playing video games and outputting them from your internet,
create a new games experience.
Not the most comfortable thought.
And built for everyone. Let's take a look.
From the beginning of time,
oh boy,
games have brought us together. Players and spectators.
From the beginning of time, insert inspiring bullshit speech about how sports and video games are exactly the same and how we have played video games, quote unquote, since antiquity.
by the handful.
This video montage almost feels like a Saturday Night Live parody.
We built stadiums. Places to
We get it.
around
It's
every
Stadia. It's called Stadia. We understand the name,
Glory,
the branding, the metaphor behind the name itself. You don't have to shove it in.
Rivalry and wonder. Until every city, town, and village had a place where anyone could play. Thousands of years in, our games have changed.
And now we're all back at it again. People are watching, crowds are watching us from the internet instead of out there on their seats.
Where anything you dream can be built.
Instead of from the stadium itself. We are providing a stadium from the web.
Everyone you know and everyone
Whoop de fucking do, I get it.
Let's go! Let's go, squad! Let's go!
One place that never stops evolving. Where everyone will play.
Oh, hey, Sonic Fox. Furry pro player of fighting games?
And create.
I don't quite remember, but he won an award at the Game Awards for
on any screen at any time.
best pro player, I think. Something like that.
One place for all the ways we play.
Yes, I get it, lady.
This is Stadia.
You really want us to pay for Stadia. We get it. S for sellout. S for money shilling platform. I get it. And again, people with their phones.
We are so excited.
You're not at a press conference to record. Oh my God.
It's important that we have the right people working on this. Experts with deep history and heritage in games.
I understand. Okay, if you're working for media and you're actually taking pictures of the stage for a journalistic outlet, that's fine. You can use a DSLR camera, but you better not be a journalist and use a cell phone to take pictures of the press conference. And if you're just a fucking dweeb, listen to the conference. Be there for the experience, okay? It's a fucking stadium. Okay, we're not on our computers or our devices right now. This is an actual stadium, a stage. So be part of it. This is just ironic that they're doing this fucking press conference and people are snapping with their goddamn cell phones.
He's a great leader.
It's infuriating. Holy crap.
Definitely someone who knows the difference between RPGs and NPCs. I'm going to pass the mic over to Phil to show you what we have built. Take it away, Phil.
The difference between NPCs and RPGs, yeah. You'd have to be pretty fucking stupid to not know. The NPC is an element of a game.
Thank you, Sundar.
RPG is a specific genre. The NPC can be in an RPG.
As we finally get to share Google's vision for the future of games. Where the worlds of watching and playing games converge into a new generation game platform.
I swear to God, this press conference is targeted for filthy casuals.
Our vision for Stadia is
tech normies.
One place for all the ways we play.
But it's at the Game Developers Conference again. Ironically, it's at a gaming focused convention
captivates over 2 billion
for
players
gamers
all around the world.
And the guy who was on stage said that he wasn't a gamer.
Its beating heart are the game
I'm telling you, Google is wanting to sell out even harder.
Game experience.
I mean, they've been like that for forever. I mean,
with engrossing stories,
with monetization of YouTube content, so on and so forth.
Artistry and magic.
I'm just being a little cynical right now.
Games are now the single biggest form of entertainment on the planet, one that connects
really, you don't say,
cultures and language. And within that passionate community, there is a universe of people who love playing games, and there's a universe of people who love watching games. Hundreds of millions of people.
What about the people that love doing both?
Every single day on YouTube.
I like to watch and play.
Two worlds are mostly
You're neglecting me.
Fragmented, and often independent of each other. Our vision is to bring those worlds closer together, to connect game developers with players and YouTube creators in a way that only Google
Get
can.
to the point. I understand the obvious
enjoy.
phenomenons of gaming and watching
the
gaming
extraordinary
content.
reach and community of YouTube, and our investments in the fundamental technologies that are the foundations of the open internet, we offer a truly unique opportunity to combine these worlds. We will be handing that extraordinary power of the data center over to you, the game developers, where playgrounds for every imagination can be created. Our first public test of this came in October of last year with Project Stream, where we streamed a AAA HD game at up to 1080p and 60 frames per second
with our
over the
high-grade internet
from Google
that is
data
fiber
centers
optic
to a
and
Chrome browser. We were humbled
internet
by the
from
overwhelmingly positive response from players who
our
were
company,
able to join
Google
us on
Fiber.
Project Stream.
Google Fiber,
A
created
huge
by
thank you
us
to those of you who
from
participated
Silicon
in Project
Valley.
Stream
Us
and for your
rich
vital
white
feedback.
people
And also
with high-grade
to the
internet.
amazing people at
We
Ubisoft
tested the
for
game
trusting
on
us
our
with
new
the latest
device, and it
incarnation
works
of their
because
incredible game
it's
franchise, Assassin's
from
Creed.
our own
Ubisoft-
high-grade internet
Ubisoft
provider,
has always been at the forefront of advancements
and
in
not
the games
cr-
industry,
and not
and they have an incredible track record of
Comcast or
success
Spectrum
and
or whatever the
creativity.
fuck other
Joining us
ISP
here in
out
the
there that
audience today,
throttles
I'm
your
delighted to welcome the
bandwidth.
CEO and co-founder of Ubisoft, Yves Guillemot. Thank you, Yves.
Hi, Eve. Well, he's being a little bit uncomfortable. He's like, I get it. I've received enough
to thank
praise.
Yves and his team for partnering with us, and to producer Marc-Alexis Côté and the entire Ubisoft Quebec studio for their masterpiece creation, Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Thank you for bringing
Thank
your
you
game to our
for accepting our
platform.
$1 million,
Congratulations
billion
for being
dollar
the first
contract.
game played by the public on Steam.
Thank you for selling your
As
integrity.
many of you experienced with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, we now have the ability
For throwing
to
it
take
out
a
of the window
sophisticated, graphically intense
so that we
AAA game
can promote your
and stream
shiny,
it to a
beautiful
Chrome
looking
browser
game
running on a simple
on our new
laptop
platform,
without any
which
sacrifice to the quality or vision of the
might
game
or might
developer.
not be received
As
well
successful as
upon
Project
launch.
Stream was, our ambition is, of course, far beyond a single game. As we developed our strategy for this new platform, we asked developers how we can help solve some of the most critical challenges you face. There were three very clear themes that resonated. You told us you wanted to unleash your creativity without limits, get to the widest possible scale.
Wait, what does creativity
and
have
make it
anything to
easier
do
for
with
people to
Stadia?
connect with your
I'm
games.
sorry, but
We
the game's
used
already
these
created
three
by the
themes to
developers.
anchor our
The
vision
consumer's
to
not
build
creating
our
anything.
platform architecture and began
Scale?
to share it with the leading
Yeah,
publishers
I want the
and
highest
developers in the
resolution
world.
scaling.
Now,
Connect.
Let me show you how we have brought this vision to life. Imagine you are watching games on YouTube and you discover the latest Assassin's Creed Odyssey trailer on Ubisoft's official channel on YouTube.
Imagine
You will notice the Play Now
paying money to the
button.
developer
By simply
upon
clicking on
watching
that
a
button, the
video
player is
right
brought
off the bat
directly into the game in a browser in
without
a
having
quick
to
5
without
seconds.
having seen a review video
no download.
first of the game. You may now spend money, give money to Stadia
With no
and
download,
the developer
patch, no
behind the
update,
promoted
and
game
no install.
faster
Stadia offers instant
upon
access to
impulse.
play. Our platform vision for Stadia is to reduce the friction between getting excited about a game and playing a game.
Oh boy,
On Stadia, you
consumerism
just
at
need
its
to click on a
finest.
YouTube video or link,
Get everything
and you can be
at
playing your
any
game
point right
instantly.
now.
Compare that to today, where gamers are
Promoting
all too
entitlement.
familiar with things
Just
like
what we
this.
needed.
With Stadia, this waiting game will be a thing of the
Okay,
past.
if you're downloading a video game for 4 hours, I'm sorry, but your internet is pretty low. Either it's on Wi-Fi and you're on 1 Mbps. Like, invest in some better internet. Let's not compare Stadia to the worst possible internet package. That is just not fair. Okay? And if, by the way, if you've got pretty low internet, how the fuck are you going to be playing video games on Stadia if Stadia relies on decent internet? Anyone who downloads a video game for 4.5 hours is probably not going to be able to play a video game on Stadia anyway. So this is probably the dumbest jab at the install joke Oh my God, at the installing process, I mean,
The power of
it's
instant
just
access
dumb.
is magical and has already transformed
People
the
are
music
laughing the
and movie
crowd.
industries.
Ha ha
With
hee hee
Stadia,
ho.
it is now available at the highest level of gaming.
Oh my God.
But wouldn't it be even more magical if that same game and that same instant experience could be available across any screen type in your life? A key benefit of our platform is that a single creative vision and a single code base can now be enjoyed instantly across any screen. At launch, we'll support being able to play games.
Okay, how the fuck are you? How is anyone going to be able to play Assassin's Creed on their phone at the highest graphical settings? What fucking phone supports Assassin's Creed Odyssey? I maybe a tablet, but even a tablet, I don't know. Some of the technology here, like computers are not that limited, right? Compared to tablets and phone in terms of their the gear that is built into them, right? There's only limited amounts of space inside of a phone or a tablet to support strong components that can run these AAA games that are very performance heavy because of the amount of space there is in the game, right? The universe and the environment and all the details that come along, like foliage and texture, right? There's a lot to think about here. So I don't know how the fuck people are going to be able to play Assassin's Creed on a tiny little screen on a phone. You're just asking for the phone to overheat.
Desktops, laptops, TV, tablets, and phones.
And also, you can't you can't have direct stable internet from your phone. So how is this going to be executed? I mean, I know you can play Fortnite on the phone, right? Nowadays, Fortnite is multi-platform. You can play it on the phone, just like PUBG. I have never played Fortnite or PUBG personally on the phone, and I have no desire to do that. And my phone probably doesn't support it because it's an outdated model anyway. It's an S5, so I don't even want to talk about it. But I would never want to play these kinds of games, the full-fledged games, on a phone. And I can't imagine playing something like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is so much more graphically demanding than Fortnite. Fortnite, which has a more cartoony aesthetic. And so with that in mind, Fortnite isn't that graphically demanding as Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is more of a historical game that has a more realistic approach on the universe that it touches on. So I'm just not sure how the fuck people are going to be able to play this on the phone, let alone through the internet, the data package, or whatever package you've signed up for on your phone. Like I said, this is for rich people, for people that live in Silicon Valley. So I don't know if this Stadia is meant for every consumer out there. This is mostly for the people that live in metropolitan urban areas that have decent cash and disposable income. So
this new generation of gaming is not a box. With Stadia, the data center is
not a box. Are they insulting consoles? Bulky computers? Not a box, huh? Yeah. Not for non-hardcore gamers. Again, for the filthy casuals that don't understand these big boxes, that just want everything right now.
There's no console that limits the developer's creative ideas, and no console that limits where gamers can play. And we're about to show this to you now.
Yeah, show it right
This
now.
is not a concept,
Stop talking.
this is not a
Show
test,
it.
This is real. I'd like to bring my friend Khaled to the stage to show you this working. So imagine you've just discovered that game for the first time.
This better not be pre-rendered gameplay. This better be live gameplay, not pre-rendered, because press conferences, especially gaming ones, are notorious for having pre-rendered gameplay and not live gameplay. Pre-rendered, which means they've recorded the content before getting on stage. But it does seem like it's live. Although,
once again, no loss in quality, and we can go straight on to the desktop.
I don't know
PC.
about the
We
input
actually went
lag.
to buy the
It almost
least
seems
powerful
like
PC we could find here. And we could enjoy the same vision that the developer had.
It almost looks like as this guy is moving the mouse, the input lag is still it is quite noticeable. So the movement of the mouse doesn't quite match the timing of the movement of the camera in the game.
High quality 1080p stream at 60 frames per second.
So there's still a little bit of an input lag,
regardless of the hardware.
but input lag is usually something you want to focus, like you want to keep. Input lag is important for FPS titles or online games where you want to make sure that your shots register on time versus online enemies, right? But for a game like Assassin's Creed Odyssey, it's not that big of a deal when it comes to input lag. However, maybe in combat is where, you know, input lag would be more important in this open world game.
And then it's once again seamless to go from running on our PC to running on a tablet. In this case, once again, running the Chrome OS on a Pixel slate.
See, I'm looking at the video and it seems like the footage was lagging, was jittering a little bit.
To the TV.
So it's not quite optimal.
So
I mean, they're using pretty high-grade internet, supposedly.
Which is a Chromecast Ultra HDMI streamer. There is no console
It's
required.
GDC, so they must have really high internet bandwidth set up for this. But even then, I was noticing a little bit of that jitter in there on the tablet. Not on this TV screen. But he wasn't doing a whole lot in the gameplay anyway, just flying the bird around in a
Welcoming
cinematic
any
view.
and all players is fundamental to Stadia, where you can try with your friends on devices you already own. And as such, we're also enabling players to use your existing USB controller or mouse and keyboard when playing Stadia on a laptop or PC. By eliminating that friction, that barrier to entry, we will make it simple and easy for players who want to try Stadia for the first time. But of course, we will have our own controller that has been uniquely designed to enhance the experience for the Stadia player. I'd like to introduce you to the newest member of the Google hardware family, the Stadia controller.
Oh, we've got our own on-brand controller. It almost looks like a generic Xbox controller. Look
This
at
is
that.
your gateway to the best of
Original
Stadia.
design.
It enables you to access the full Stadia
boy.
experience, and there are many advantages to the Stadia controller. And the first is that it will connect.
I do like
through
that green
Wi-Fi
variant.
directly to the game that is
third
running
one.
in the Google data center.
In the
The Stadia controller identifies which screen or
Options
device you want to play on and links it with your game
controllers
session
that they
running in the
showed
cloud,
off, but
ensuring the highest possible performance and the best experience for players. In addition to the standard functions you'd expect to see on a modern game controller, the Stadia controller features two very important new buttons.
two very important buttons.
The capture button.
Okay, listen well.
is for sharing
The
and saving
capture
your
button apparently is a very crucial button. You must have this button. If you are not screenshotting your gameplay, you are missing out on the real experience, okay? If you're not sharing Stadia on your social media, then this controller would be absolutely useless, right? They have to have that button. The only reason the capture button is there is so that Stadia can be promoted to more potential consumers. Let's be completely honest here. The only people that are screenshotting console gameplay are the scumbags that have nothing else to do. Okay, there are plenty of screenshots of these video games on Google Images. We don't need people to be making tweets about, oh my, it's just another way for Google to promote Stadia and to potentially get more out of people's pockets, right? This is the only function of the capture tool, is to share gameplay screenshots so that more eyeballs see Stadia, which you might say, but it's marketing, I see it. There's nothing wrong with that. But to say that this is an important button to have on a controller. I doubt it. This is important. This is only important for the company itself, because this is essentially built in marketing, a marketing tool, right? So
your game experience back out.
Honestly, there are other features that a controller could have,
starting with a click of this button,
that developers could think of that could be considered far more important than a fucking capture tool. By the way, I've never used, I had never, ever, almost never used the capture button on my controller devices, whether it be on the Switch or the PS4. I have zero fucks about that shit.
Our goal with Stadia is to help fuel developer creativity at every level. And next, we'll take a look at the incredible computing power we have custom built into our data centers that will further accelerate innovation. I'd like to introduce my friend and colleague, the head of engineering for Stadia, Majd Bakar.
Thanks so much, Bill. Let's look at the real-time computing power we have put into our data centers that will change how we view what a game platform can be. In order to deliver an amazing experience for your games, we needed to bring powerful computing closer to users. We've built Stadia's architecture on top of the Google Data Center network, the same network that has been delivering search results to your fingertips in milliseconds for more than 20 years. The network consists of fiber optic links and subsea cables between hundreds of points of presence and more than 7,500 edge node locations around the globe, all connected with our network backbone. Stadia is built on infrastructure that no one else has. More edge nodes mean the compute resources are closer to players, which results in better performance. We took that proven model and infused it with custom-designed, purpose-built gaming hardware, creating the most powerful and connected gaming platform.
See, but not everyone, not all locations have access to this. You know, they're showing numbers, but there are people that don't have Google Fiber in their area. So what are those guys supposed to do? What if they want to use this service? They're kind of screwed over.
Of data centers to game development. This architecture is the foundation for this new generation of gaming. We've been testing this technology privately within Google for years. For our initial public test with Project Stream in 2018, we delivered up to 1080p 60 frames per second with stereo audio. When Stadia launches, we will have increased performance significantly to support resolution.
4K resolution, because everyone has a 4K TV to play on, right? Like I said,
with HDR and surround sound.
Stadia sounds like so far it's meant for people with
we'll be able to
money,
stream games in up to 8K
people that
resolution.
That live in the city and that are rich.
We know there are not that many homes or TVs in the world that have
I don't have a 4K TV, okay? I don't have a 4K monitor.
We have built our platform to scale
and the idea of trying to output a video game at 4K purely from your internet provider,
what's even more
you would have to have unlimited internet
in addition to the stream
upload,
you get as a player, there is a second
for that high bit rate
at 4K 60 frames per second that you can choose to share directly to YouTube from the Stadia data center. Meaning your gaming memories will be saved at the highest possible.
Honestly, Stadia is a very cool concept. Like at the very core, Stadia as a platform is a really interesting idea that could be executed very well. But because of the current technology of internet, the innovation of Stadia is not matching the level of technology that most internet providers are at, right? And the way pricing works for internet providers and what they provide and the amount of upload download that most providers provide. Google Fiber, if Google really wants Stadia to be successful, then Google Fiber needs to be available everywhere in 99% of the globe. They would have to be the #1 internet providing competitor if they want Stadia to be accessible to everyone, right? on the level of like YouTube, right? Because YouTube is used by everyone. Anyone can use YouTube. YouTube is an open platform. It's a mega beast owned by Google, and Google is doing greatly because of YouTube. And YouTube is the -- internet media platform for viewing video content. And so Stadia they want Stadia to be at that level, clearly, and it works in conjunction with videos on YouTube, because you can actually click on a built-in feature on a video that directs you to Stadia. So, like, for example, they showed off the Assassin's Creed Odyssey trailer as an example, and at the end of that video, you can click on the button that would take you to the game directly. So you can open the game directly from the video, supposedly. I don't know if that's exactly how it works, because you still have to pay for the game. Now, that's another question that I'm thinking about, is whether or not you would have to pay for the game first, and then before being able to launch the game on Stadia, right? Or you pay a subscription model that pays out the developers. So like a monthly subscription for Stadia would work in a way that you wouldn't have to pay to play the game, right? So let's say you're paying $45 US a month, and you get to play all the games that are partnered with Stadia for free. You wouldn't have to pay for the game, because you're paying for Stadia already, and Stadia would have to be at a decent amount for the developers to benefit out of this subscription model that Google/Stadia has set up, right? So it could be that option, or it could be like a cheap subscription model, and then you would have to pay for the game separately. But yeah, that's another point that I wanted to bring up, is how are they gonna come up with the subscription prices for this cloud-based platform, and are developers going to get a decent cut from it? And if so, would the games be free and included in the Stadia service that Google has promised and unveiled here so far? But like I said, the execution is going to matter a lot. At the end of the day, as exciting as Stadia might be, it's all about how they're going to do it. They can talk about all the plans they have, all the technology that they've tested, and all the successes from the play testing that they've done, but the consumer has to be happy about the service that they're paying. And so if it's not going to work for them, then Stadia could, have a really high peak, a momentarily high peak in success, and then peak all the way down after having a great mass of disgruntled consumers that have experienced a lot of technical difficulties from their Stadia experience. So, like I said, this is an interesting concept. Just because I'm criticizing Stadia doesn't mean that it could be better than what we expected or what I expected, right? I usually place very high expectations for video game development, for new development, whether it be technological or media-based, right? Could even be a movie sequel. I like high-quality stuff, and so, you can promise a high-quality product, but if it doesn't work, or if it doesn't work at the level that we want, or at the norm, if it doesn't meet the basic requirements of a decent gaming experience, then all of that fancy stuff is thrown out of the window. It has no more value. So I really want this Stadia thing to work. I don't know if I'll be using it personally, but I am rooting for its success. It's just that I'm just skeptical about the execution and the experience of Stadia itself, since it is reliant, very highly, extremely reliant on the internet provider that you're using for streaming video games, because it's a cloud-based platform. So you're not using your rig, you're using your internet, purely your internet, to put out high-quality 60 FPS, 4K resolution gameplay.
Full quality Stadia is not constrained by the limitation of traditional console systems. Instead, we have built a truly flexible, scalable, and modern platform that allows us to push performance beyond what was previously considered possible. This architecture gives us even more flexibility to scale. And thanks to fast transfer speeds between the Stadia instances in our data center, our platform can connect instances together to dynamically expand the capabilities along with the need of your games. As a developer, you're used to being forced to tone down your creative ambition that are limited by the hardware. But our vision with Stadia is that the processing resources available will scale up to match your imagination. In this new generation, the data center is your platform.
Imagine being a game developer and you're only relying on the Stadia tool to create your game. The data center is your Imagine what if you have a power outage? What if your internet just goes out because of an electrical outage? What the fuck are you supposed to do? I'm just having a funny image of a developer sitting there using Stadia to develop a game, and then suddenly the internet is gone because either the ISP is throttling their internet or some raccoon or a squirrel nibbled on the fucking power line and they electrocuted the line and themselves, and then, you know, like anything could happen with the internet, right? So why would you want why would you want to rely on internet to develop a game instead of your rig, which you have complete control of, right? You can fix it, but with internet you would have to wait for the provider to fix it, and it's a huge ordeal, right, to go through customer support sometimes, depending on the provider. You're right. Some providers are a little bit better on the execution of technical support, but you know, these things take time versus having a rig that runs your engine, your virtual engine, whether it be the game itself or the developing tool that you're using as a developer. So I don't know about all this mumbo jumbo.
At AMD to build a custom GPU.
Oh boy.
I'd like to personally thank Dr. Lisa Su, AMD
and I'm out of coffee,
CEO,
so
who is here with
it's time to get
today.
insane here in the membrane.
Lisa and her team helped us design a chip to bring you more than 10 teraflops of power, which we've coupled with a custom CPU.
Oh boy, 10 teraflops. Those are some high numbers. Whoop-de-fucking-do. Not everyone has 10 teraflops, mister.
And power of Stadia compares to the top 2 consoles in the market.
Oh boy. Okay.
You can see. Thank you.
Oh, they're comparing consoles with Stadia.
You can see that a single Stadia instance is a big step forward. 10.7 teraflops is more powerful than the top 2 consoles of the previous generation combined. Stadia will be using the Linux operating system and the Open Graphics API, Vulkan. And when it comes to game engines, we are excited to announce that we have partnered with Unreal, who will be fully supporting the Stadia platform. We are also partnering with Unity to bring full support for the 2 most popular and familiar games.
Okay, so they did a comparison of the consoles with Stadia itself, showcasing that Stadia had way noticeably more teraflops in its GPU system than the PS4 Pro or the Xbox One. And so what I'm wondering is why does that matter if consumers are not using like a gaming rig to output the image of the video game? Are there Stadia nodes, like physical installments of Stadia in neighborhoods? Because I mean, there is Google Fiber as far as the provider goes, right? It exists. You can sign up for it. I don't have it. I use Bell Internet. But so, you know, I guess, I mean, you don't have to sign up. See, the thing is, you don't have to have Google Fiber in order to utilize Stadia. You could use any other provider and still be a consumer of the Stadia platform. But what I'm wondering is whether or not there are like internet nodes, like physical constructions of the Stadia output. I don't know how to explain this, but I think they mentioned it earlier, where they showed the map of the entire globe, and they showed off the different nodes of Google Fiber and how they connect to each other, some shit like that. So what I'm thinking is Google already building like Stadia constructions around places in the world? And if so, then, because they have, I'm guessing they might have infrastructure planned for construction around the globe, and they're still in the process of building them. So maybe they're already investing in that. And so this guy referencing the teraflop technology, the GPU output, makes me think that the infrastructure is going to be at a higher level than consoles. And so through these Stadia infrastructures, people are going to be able to they're going to connect their internet through that infrastructure. I don't know. It's all, like I said, this is pretty interesting technology, and we aren't sure how it completely works, and the execution is going to be very crucial at the end of the day. So, all of this is pretty new. It's a new step in technology, but is it going to be done well? We'll see.
Engines to our development community. And we're empowering developers with an amazing array of familiar middleware that you already use to power your game development, including the most popular physics engine, Havok. And here's a list of our partners now. And of course, this list will continue to grow.
Here are all the partners that we paid money to.
Tools, game development
obscene amounts of money.
As the imagination of content creators.
Silicon Valley Studio, yeah.
We're providing multiple ways to make games for Stadia. You can develop on our cloud, your cloud, and at your desk. Our goal is to make Stadia the most flexible development environment ever put together.
Okay, so they have... See, they're showing like these tablet, whatever the fuck they're called, data packages. So I'm guessing these are like infrastructure servers, not like computers. We're talking about like infrastructure. They're showing off images of Stadia's infrastructure.
And that power is, of course, used to create the best content.
And so
our first guest is from a company known for creating the most sophisticated
installing that in different parts of the world
that always demand the most of every system they run on. We had the chance to give our friends at id early access to our tools and technology. It's my absolute pleasure to welcome to the stage executive producer from id, Marty Stratton.
Hi, everyone. Thanks so much for having us here, Phil and Majd. I'm honored to be part of a team at id that has spent more than 25 years.
I think this is a developer from
of technical innovation.
Bethesda?
When we first met with Google about
I think they're promoting Doom.
Frankly, we were skeptical.
Doom Eternal, the next Doom game.
And in particular, how it could work with a game like Doom.
There you
However,
go.
we recognize
not
just your ability and resources to make game streaming a reality.
Okay, so like I said earlier, regarding input lag, right? Input lag is something that a lot of hardcore gamers value. And so with a game like Doom, you really, really need that input lag. If you don't have it, then the experience of the combat, which features a lot of shooting, is ruined. Like, a split second makes a difference in the experience. So, like, I don't mind Assassin's Creed Odyssey being part of the Stadia platform, right? Working with the developers, because it's a single player game. Well, it is. I mean, Doom is also a single player game, but they're two vastly different genres, and input lag is way more important in a shooter game, in a first-person game that features guns, right? And so shooting is a fast-paced, is part of fast-paced combat. So they really have to, they cannot ruin the experience for Doom fans that are wanting to play this game on the Stadia platform. And so if you know, like, the movement of your mouse or if your execution of actions does not match what's on screen at that given moment, then Doom is just not feasibly enjoyable anymore.
More importantly, the passion.
It's not playable.
To support a game as
but
fast,
casuals are not going to
fluid,
mind. Like, people that don't play a lot of video games are probably going to play this game regardless.
If you're going to prove to the world that you can stream games from the cloud, what better proof than Doom? And if you're going to prove to a developer that you're serious about building a robust platform, what better team than id, where we push every platform to its limit. In fact, back in 2016, Doom was the first AAA game released on Vulkan. And because Stadia is built on that same Vulkan API, it didn't take us more than a few weeks to get our upcoming sequel, Doom Eternal, looking and playing great on Stadia. Built on the fun and sense of power players expect from the series, Doom Eternal.
On a side note, I'm fucking stoked for Doom Eternal. It's probably one of the best games. Probably one of the best game series you could play for yourself. Just putting it out. Just putting that out there. Okay.
We couldn't be happier to be bringing Doom Eternal.
If you're not excited for Doom Eternal, you're not a real gamer. Even if you're planning on playing on this casual, filthy platform called Stadia.
With HDR color at an unrelenting
you're not a gamer,
60
period.
frames per second.
Shots fired.
We actually can't wait to show you more of Doom Eternal very soon, in fact. We have the full game running on Stadia, live from Google data centers, and you can see it today at our developer session. It starts at 12:30 over in West Hall. You won't want to miss it. Thank you to Google and Stadia team for giving us this opportunity to share.
So they're actually play testing
Thanks so much.
the game at the Game Developers Conference. So hopefully we can get some reviews from people that have been there at the convention.
To work with id and your incredible engineers and creators.
Get some authentic reviews.
For anyone who knows the franchise, you know Doom Eternal will look and play amazingly well on our platform. It was important for us to partner with a developer like id so that we could prove, not just to ourselves, but to the entire industry, that our platform is capable of supporting the most demanding titles. And Doom will be running on a single Stadia GPU. The fundamental benefit of our cloud-native infrastructure is that developers will be able to take advantage of hardware and power in ways never before possible. And that includes taking advantage of the power of multiple GPUs at once. We've asked our friends at UL Benchmarks, makers of 3D Mark, to put Stadia to the test. In this video, you can see some comparison points showing the difference between our single GPU and multiple GPUs. What you see here on the left of the line is running on a single 10.7 teraflop GPU. And on the right of the line, you can see the same content running on Stadia using multiple GPUs. In this demo, we're highlighting real-time fluid deformation. Accurate water simulation is one of the most compute-intensive effects for games.
Wait, didn't they just say that? Hold on. They said Doom Eternal will be able to be played on a single Stadia GPU. But why would I want to play Doom Eternal on only one? Why can I not push it
of what Stadia
on the multi-GPU?
I'm so excited to see where game developers
I don't get what they're saying.
This kind of performance. When we designed Stadia, our goal was to solve many of the pain points that we
Are there different subscription models for Stadia?
Particularly those related to multiplayer.
And you can choose to play video games on one or multiple GPUs. Maybe they're giving us options.
Experience is limited by the client with the slowest,
depending on our
quality connection.
ISP.
But with Stadia,
So yeah, you have the gameplay, the controller, the game console, or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if this is showcasing like typical console setups that are. Oh no. Yeah. Anyway, let's go ahead and check this out.
Both remain on Google's networking backbone, resulting in predictable low latency.
Okay, wait a minute. I gotta rewind this.
Resulting in.
Sorry. Yeah, this is a typical setup that goes through different transits, supposedly, if you're playing on, let's say, PS4, Xbox.
Yeah, that game client and
if you're playing an online game, that
on
is.
Google's networking backbone, resulting in predictable low latency.
With Google's data center, I guess if you use Google Fiber, I don't know. Or is it any ISP? I'm wondering if you can do this with any ISP or if it has to be Google Fiber specific. Someone illuminate me in the comment section.
Data security, since no traffic gets exposed to the public internet.
I would think that they would allow any ISP to utilize Stadia. Why would they want to? Yeah, they wouldn't want to restrict
anything enjoyed by gamers
Stadia only to Google Fiber users.
Very high volume of players,
especially considering that Google is a platform that can be used by anyone, whether it be the Google search system or YouTube. So
to thousands of players.
I would assume any ISP would work with
no cheating and no hacking.
This then again, you know, like every ISP has different bandwidth rates. That's the thing.
Without barriers. And as a new generation
so the bandwidth, you know, the image of the video game depends on the bandwidth of your ISP. So like I was saying before, Stadia can be horrible for people that don't have the best providers, but
developers will have the ability
phenomenal
to
for Google Fiber consumers.
For all players, and even bring game saves and progression across as well. I'd now like to introduce a member of Stadia's R&D team who are pushing the envelope, bringing the best of Google to game developers. Please welcome to the stage our lead designer for research and development at Stadia, Erin Hoffman-Jung.
And this makes me think, you know, like, are they trying to sell us Stadia in hopes that we switch our ISPs to Google Fiber? Honestly, in order for Stadia to do really well, like I said earlier, Google Fiber has to be providing something better than any other ISP out there to get consumers to use Stadia at its optimal level. Because if someone has a bad provider and they're using Stadia and it's not the experience that they expected from the one that they showed off at the press conference here, then they're going to have to switch ISPs. Either they switch ISPs to Google Fiber or they don't use Stadia at all. And so, but if their ISP provides a better deal than Google Fiber does, then there's no point in switching to Google Fiber. That's what I'm trying to get across is at the end of the day, the execution is important and the stability of Google Fiber's internet would have to be marginally better than any other ISP for people to want to use Stadia. And if Google Fiber gets to that point, to that level of excellence in consumer products, then Stadia could potentially be the next step up in technology of video game development, because we wouldn't have to rely anymore on buying new PC parts every couple of years or so. Because Stadia would be improved technologically by Google itself. So there is a possibility for Stadia to become a top-notch competitor. And they're clearly trying to compete with the AAAs and whatnot, right? They're kind of emulating the Fortnite model, Fortnite being playable on so many platforms, right? Stadia is being promoted as this cloud platform that can be utilized on so many different devices, a television, a tablet, a phone, what's it called? I mean, like, but you would have to have a Google Android device, right? If you're talking about a phone, you couldn't do this on an Apple device. So Google is clearly trying to compete with Apple here. And like I said, there is potential for them to do this very well if the specifications of Stadia outdo and surpass the ones from other platforms. And if Google Fiber is, I don't know, Google Fiber needs to be more accessible, I think, is the thing. Accessible in the value of the pricing and of the location, right? Because Google Fiber is still not available everywhere. From what I've heard, I don't think it's everywhere in the States. Some people still, to this day, are only able to use limited providers, like Comcast is pretty popular, but it's available nearly everywhere in America. But Google Fiber is just starting to opening its doors in different states. So, you know, they're really going to have to push this forward, all this infrastructure, if they really want Stadia to succeed. So, but they have the money, right? They have all of that YouTube ad money that they've fucking stolen from the content creators. So we'll see. At the end of the day, is the future. Time will tell.
Thank you, Phil. One of our team's favorite comments about Project Stream was a tweet.
I don't know why I'm trying to drink. There's nothing in there. I'm being an idiot. I'm being a dumb idiot.
And we are incredibly fortunate to work with wizards every day, bending their magic toward games. I'd like to take you through a few technologies.
I'm really interested to know where your engineers went to wizarding school. I can't imagine any other way the project. Oh my God.
And features
this is not a real tweet. This is an employee that created this tweet, a marketing employee.
Big and small.
Come on.
The first one is focused on multiplayer. Stadia not only provides high-performing multiplayer experiences from player to player,
fabricated,
but also allows
scripted
developers
tweets.
to create new, gorgeous gaming environments. Our friends at Tangent Games have been working with us on a technical proof of concept that you can see here behind me. They spent a few short weeks creating this beautiful multiplayer world with a persistent, massively destructible environment. It is a raw demonstration of scale and power using the best of Stadia technology, where every piece of the environment in this multiplayer world is destructible using real-time rigid body physics. Using Google's unique infrastructure, developers can create games built to house hundreds of players with low latency and perfect synchronization. This demo will be available on the show floor if you want to check it out this week. As we were building the platform, we collaborated with individual developers.
Okay, so my issue with online play with Stadia is the possibility of input lag being vastly different from every player that utilizes Stadia. So let's say I'm playing competitive Overwatch or Rainbow Six Siege or CS:GO. Any competitive shooter that might work with Stadia is going to be potentially a problem if the experience of the competitive play is not fair based on every player's input lag, if it's vastly different depending on which provider they're associated with, which ISP. So, you know, like I can see how fun online play could be great. And I wouldn't mind it for a game that doesn't have competitive in it, a competitive factor. Like, I don't know, let's say an MMO. See, even an MMO is problematic because if you're doing high-end content in an MMORPG, a massive multiplayer game that features difficult high-end content, then you're going to want everyone to be on the same level of input for their bandwidth in order to get a certain boss down, epic elite boss down. But if you're just leveling out there, I guess, with like if you're leveling a character with your buddos in online play, or if you're playing Diablo maybe, or like Path of Exile, Stadia could be great, honestly. And it could be like the most casual online game like Animal Crossing, and it could be so fun to play this thing from a tablet. Or although I don't know if Nintendo would work with Google here. At the end of the day, not every company is going to want to work with Google/Stadia. So certain games are exclusive, And then, you know, other games are not going to want to work with Google and Stadia. Probably like indies, maybe indie developers will. It really comes down to which developer wants to work with Google here. But I don't see competitive online gaming being feasibly possible or a good experience with Stadia, because Stadia is still in its kind of experimental process, and they haven't really announced an official release date. I think they basically slated it for 2019, but you know, delays are a thing. They're notorious in video game development.
About trends in game development. When
you never
we thought
know.
about our most treasured gaming memories, something kept coming back, something that we'd lost. When modern games start to push the boundaries of current hardware, rendering 2 or more scenes simultaneously becomes too resource intensive, and so split-screen couch co-op has been fading from gaming. But when all of your clients are in the cloud, couch multiplayer has new life again through Stadia in what we're calling Stream Connect. In the past, the resources required to execute split-screen co-op have required developers to sacrifice more of their creative goals. With Stream Connect, we're making it possible to realize split-screen multiplayer without any performance penalty. Behind me, you'll see a technology proof of concept that we built at Google. It's called the Night Forest, a co-op demo with asymmetric player roles. Here we have 2 players, one hunter on the ground and a supporting aerial player.
But see, these are demos. They're very small games. Demos are demos, right? But if you take a full-fledged game out there, an existing one with online play, it would be maybe a completely different experience. So this, I mean, this was planned by Google. The demos have been fabricated by Google. So naturally, you know, they're controlling the experience and fine-tuning it and making sure that whatever they have to showcase on the show floor looks appealing.
Giving a designer not one, but many cameras.
But so far, they haven't, you know, they haven't showed off a developer of an existing online game to showcase Stadia's technology.
Where a 4th player can coordinate the movements of our drone, scientist, and hunter characters. Now that
because this demo here that they've made only features 2 players, the flying little bug thingamajig there, and then the girl character.
One of the ways Google is working to support,
and this is only handling 2 players at a time. So imagine playing something like an MMORPG, a massive scale game, online game, with 20 plus players, or 100 plus in a given area of an MMO's universe.
On accelerating developer creativity. Every developer feels the burn in
or a dozen people playing League of Legends.
We think Google's machine learning technology might have some answers. Here to talk about it is a developer known for creating some amazing, stylish, and celebrated independent games, including Deadlight, Rhyme, and The Invisible Hours. Please welcome Chairwoman of
Deadlight.
Luz Sancho.
We're working with Deadlight, apparently, already to create Stadia functionality.
Thank you, Erin. I am very excited to be here for the unveiling of the Stadia platform. There are so many different.
Hello, Luz Sancho. You are very excited. Thank you, my lady.
And particularly for a studio like ours. At Tequila Works, we are very proud
muy
of
nice.
the art styles of our games. It's something we spend
Such a precious lady.
Perfecting. Our development cycles typically last 24 months, and as you can imagine, a large part of that time is dedicated.
I just want to give her a hug. I want to give this lady a hug.
We are particularly proud of
she definitely looks a little bit nervous on stage, especially as not a non-native speaker.
But
I haven't actually gotten around to playing Rhyme. I've wanted to play this indie game. It's available on Switch. It's got beautiful aesthetics, but I don't know if most people have played it. But it's more of a story-based indie, kind of like Journey on the PlayStation 3.
Google is applying the science of machine learning to art visualization.
Style transfer is a machine learning technology that runs on the video frame created by the game. All of this happens in real time on a Stadia instance. We built this demo to show you what it can do. We start with a gray box world and take any image we want, in this case, Kandinsky's yellow, red, blue, and the model does the rest. Throw it Starry Night, and you have another style. Give it scratch art, and you get this. We're doing our part to empower the artist inside of every developer. The R&D team iterated through hundreds of art styles testing this technology, and one of our favorites came from an old friend.
This is probably my favorite part of the broadcast. This is my favorite part of the press conference, the Pac-Man filter over their demo. I mean, can't go wrong with that.
And some of our partners so far is how many playable art styles we can create just by feeding it more and more images. It inspires and empowers.
But this is all shiny and glitzy.
Interactive environments in a whole
I don't know,
way.
man.
And this is
it's
just
trying to lure you in into giving Google money.
Transfer in our studio today, and we are blown away by the impact it's having on our latest creations. You will see it. This could really change everything. Thank you so much.
It could, given the right circumstances. Could change everything, but I'll trust the lady. I'll trust the old lady.
With Style Transfer, our goal is to help developers find the magic of their games quicker. You can check out Style Transfer during the show this week. We can't wait to hear your feedback. Creators inspire us to bring the best of Google to games, and creators are at the heart of Stadia. It isn't just what they create, but how those moments are experienced by players, moments that resonate for generations to come. The last feature we want to introduce today is another special experience made possible by the cloud. It's called State Share, and here to talk about it from Q Games is Dylan Cuthbert.
State Share. Say what now?
Hey everyone, it's great to be here with all of you today.
And we're gonna have a comedy skit now. Hopefully, no, never mind. Okay. I was expecting a comedy,
but I've always wished
a dark humor-based
social and even more
comedy
fun.
skit.
And I'm extremely
being that
excited
this
about what
guy
I've
is
learned from Google
English,
about bringing new ways
and
to share
the
a
English
game's
people are
replayable
typically
moments.
sarcastic, which
With
I
a new
resonate with
technology called State Share,
deeply.
developers can let a player instantly share a playable moment from a game. This could include the world state, the player's position, items they're carrying, anything the developer wants to pack into a shareable moment. The game's state can be encoded into a link that tells Stadia where to pick up the game. This could be sent to one player, or it could be shared with thousands at the same time on YouTube, through email, apps, messaging, or wherever links can go. To me, this totally changes how I think about the experiences for players. I can create moments specifically for this kind of sharing. Challenges to beat my incredible speed runs.
Wait, are they trying to promote Google Plus again through this system? This functionality? Because nobody gives a shit about Google Plus. I have never used Google Plus for anything, any kind of social media interaction. Twitter is the way to go.
I was so intrigued with the possibilities of
State Share. Although they showed off Discord there. So you can share a moment of the game.
Right now, it's still under wraps, but I can't wait to reveal more about this game later this year.
And put it out on other social media platforms, which is a cool concept. You can quickly upload it, I guess. I don't know. I'm not sure how that would work.
Thanks, Dylan.
But
State Share is one more way that Stadia is working.
I don't know if I would really care about that, personally.
That embrace
I don't want to share my 1,000 deaths on fucking Dark Souls.
We're extremely excited.
I don't want people to shame me publicly.
And with that, I'd like to introduce the head of
I have no
gaming at
dignity.
YouTube to tell you what Stadia means for content creators. Please welcome Ryan Wyatt.
Thanks, Aaron.
The head of YouTube gaming? Oh
I'm very
boy.
excited to be here at the unveiling of Stadia. As you've
Very
heard,
excited to
Stadia is
get
about delivering
my
the best developer experience
pocket of
so
money.
that the best games can be made. But we're also committed to making sure we have the best creator experience so that the entire community
So that I can make my
together.
pocket
YouTube
full
is
of
where
money
people
so that
come
I
to
can buy
watch
another
games.
golden watch.
More than 200 million gamers come to YouTube every single day to engage with their favorite games and creators. And they come because of the community of gaming creators and viewers who have turned YouTube into the gaming platform that it is today. We're always looking for ways to strengthen the connection between creators and viewers, and Stadia is designed to bring them together like never before. Gaming has always been the backbone of YouTube since the platform first was founded in 2000.
I don't understand the segment.
And one
What
thing
are they
YouTube
trying to
gaming
tell us?
creators want
What is
is to
streaming?
engage with their fans.
What does streaming have
That
to do?
will always
YouTube
be
gaming
the most
have to
important
do with
thing to
Stadia right now?
That's why over 50 billion hours of gaming content was watched
Wait
on
a
YouTube
minute.
last
Wait
year
a minute.
alone.
Are they trying to? Okay, so what I'm thinking is, if you stream on YouTube, I don't personally. I stream over at Twitch. No offense, YouTube. I personally prefer Twitch as a platform for streaming. But I don't. So if you stream on YouTube, what I'm guessing is what they're trying to tell us from this press conference right at this moment is that people are going to be able to. So viewers of YouTube gaming are going to be able to open the game from a YouTube live broadcast, which is a cool concept. And that's something that's definitely something that Twitch could do, is like have people, because Twitch is already doing it, where you can buy a game, a specific game that is being played by a streamer, although not every game is available like that. It's not showcased. Not every game is showcased this way on Twitch, but on Twitch you can basically, like, there is a button that says buy this game for this amount of money. Right, a game that is being played by the broadcaster at that given moment. But that's a bit of a different approach. What Stadia, I think, is trying to do is implement that functionality into a YouTube broadcast, which is a great idea. You know, it's great because you are basically promoting the game itself as a content creator, and maybe Stadia is going to work some sort of contract, like a percentage of revenue that is being given to the content creator based on how many viewers have clicked on this. And because if that's the case, then content creators on the live streamers on YouTube are getting a benefit, like an added benefit that is different, that you wouldn't find on any other live stream platform. So this is actually exciting for content creators. You know, I might curiously look at what their benefits are in the future, depending on whether or not Stadia is a successful cloud platform. But I mean, I'm not going to. I personally am sticking with Twitch, and I'm fine with it. But I think this is what they're trying to explain, because I have no idea why they brought the head of YouTube gaming to this.
You could walk to Pluto and back more than a dozen times. Stadia is focused on empowering both creators and viewers to achieve new heights by breaking barriers of content capture and creating unique ways to engage with and grow a creator's audience. Established creators will have new ways to engage and monetize on YouTube with Stadia features. And with aspiring creators,
new ways of monetizing YouTube. So for gaming content creators on YouTube, what I think they'll do is give a shared cut of money to the content creator. So, like, let's say you subscribe to Stadia as a viewer and you're watching your favorite YouTube live streamer. If you click on the little button, let's say the overlay button that is over their stream, that'll take you to the game. At that moment, the content creator gets some kind of compensation from the YouTube contracts, which is pretty cool, and it's a nice way to support content creators, because they're essentially promoting video games that are partnered with Stadia, and so Stadia is giving back. Stadia YouTube is giving back to gaming focused live streamers. So this is a pretty cool concept. You know, putting aside all the criticism that I have for Stadia as a platform, YouTube is looking into ways to support content creators. And so this is a good step forward, because right now YouTube, you know, with the current state of ad monetization, content creators are making far less than they were making in the past. So a lot of content creators are resorting to other platforms like Patreon, which I have personally. I own a Patreon myself. It's a more stable form of support. And monetization is pretty insignificant in revenue anyway. So this new system that they're thinking of, I think they're coming up with something new for content creators, for a gaming focused one right now, currently, I think is a good step forward for supporting content creators. So there is some good in this Stadia announcement by Google.
Barrier of entry and capturing content by giving you the ability to highlight, live stream, and capture directly from Stadia. We've already seen the idea of any YouTube link being a direct access point into the game, and that is a huge opportunity for both big and small creators. We're empowering creators to forge deeper connections with their audience, and one of those ways will be to make it easier to actually game with them. Often when you're watching a stream, you find yourself wishing you could be in there playing alongside with your favorite creators. On traditional platforms, you'd have to fire up your console or your PC and just hope that you get matched up with them. However, with Stadia and a new feature called Crowd Play, you'll be able to simply click a button displayed right in the stream and jump in and play with YouTube creators that you're watching.
Okay.
Take a look at the video behind me. It's a live stream of NBA 2K.
I don't know if most live streamers on YouTube would want to use this feature, though.
If you think about it, Crowd Play can act like an all-new lobby system for games. And with Stadia, YouTube becomes
this is something I don't think many people will use. I mean,
and of course,
I don't know. There is potential for
over this feature. To all the
for
game
Crowd Play to be successfully done,
the
but
millions of YouTube content creators
if you're
there,
watching,
soon we'll have
the
more
thing is, if you're watching the stream, right, as a viewer, and then you're also a consumer of Stadia, the output of your video game might be even worse because you're using more bandwidth because you're not only playing the game now, but you're also watching the stream that you wanted to be involved in for Crowd Play. So I'm not sure about this one.
Information to share on these engagement tools and how we'll be working with you to connect with and build your communities. I'd now like to introduce a friend of mine to the stage. He has over 11 million subscribers on his channel, The Game Theorist, and he and his wife, Stephanie, have often been advocates for the creator community. So we were delighted to talk to him about Stadia and what it means for creators. Please welcome to the stage my friend, Matt Pat.
Thanks, Ryan. It's an incredible honor to be here today. Now, for us creators, our audience is our lifeblood. Whether we're breaking down the real-life science of the fictional world of Fallout, or diving into the theories behind bending the ink machine, or simply streaming gameplay on our live stream channel, GDC
You can tell this guy has overly prepared his speech. It's a little bit over the top, but
we're always looking for new ways to connect and engage with our audience. Which is why, when I first met with the Stadia team, I was floored by the impact that it can have for not just gamers.
Is he acting right now?
Stadia not only empowers.
I think he's being a little bit too intense about it with the
but it also unlocks completely new ways
hand
to
motions.
build a stronger bond with my audience.
It almost, this almost looks like a TED Talk right now.
Gives our audiences the chance to instantly jump into
be inspired, be motivated. We are gonna get you to play Stadia, games on Stadia.
Another feature.
Thank you for listening to my TED Talk. Signing out.
Here, the possibilities are
literally that's what this
endless.
is. A TED Talk now.
Live streaming horror games, for instance, has been one of the most popular formats for live streaming on YouTube since its inception. But now with State Share, you can actually take this to the next level by letting the people who are just watching you replicate the exact same scenario you just played through in-game. Like that impossible moment when you're out of med kits and you suddenly have a zombie breathing down your neck.
So basically Twitch clips, right? You clip a moment from a game and you put it out on social media. That already exists on Twitch. So YouTube is a little bit behind on that, I guess.
Imagine the endless variations that creators can layer on top of all their favorite games by specifically designing challenges oriented to their unique audience. For creators, you suddenly become a game maker yourself. Creating challenges through State Share allows us to continue creating content for all your favorite games long after the game itself has been completed. And on the other hand, the audience now can reconnect with all their favorite games in completely new, exciting, and fresh ways. But of course, also as a gamer, I'm looking forward to tremendously
as a true gamer, not like that first guy who played FIFA and claimed that he wasn't a gamer and admitted at the Game Developers Conference.
1,000-player battle royale matches. Incredible new graphics.
I am sick of hearing the word battle royale. I love Apex Legends for the record, but I
pick up my phone and start playing exactly.
Battle royale is not the only genre.
Even while sitting in the audience of a keynote like this one. I hope you're not.
What about CRPGs or
happening on stage, but you could do it.
Platformers or MMOs.
New opportunities.
Give some love to the underrated genres
across YouTube. I am personally thrilled about what Stadia brings.
I am thrilled to get my share of that YouTube, that good YouTube money.
We have never seen before, and in ways that can only be possible through the combined power of Google and YouTube. So I thank the Stadia team for having me in here today. I can't wait to see what else you guys have in store, and I'll see the rest of you on the floors of GDC.
Thank you for your overly prepared speech and your over-enthusiasm for Stadia.
Thanks, Ryan.
YouTube
and Pat.
partner
Connecting players
sellout.
and creators to their
Moving on.
favorite games is core to the design problem of creating a perfect challenge gets more and more difficult.
Okay.
When a player is stuck on a level or puzzle
Oh
and
boy.
desperately wants that next beat of
Wait
the
a
story,
minute.
or the breathtaking
Is the
views of
Google
next
Assistant
level,
a virtual
what do they do?
backseater?
Today, they have to leave the game, fire up YouTube, find the right video, scrub
Oh,
the right parts
no
of that
way.
video, and watch how it's done.
Oh,
With
no
Stadia,
fucking way.
That help will be just a
I already have
button press away.
backseaters from my Twitch
Take this
channel.
example from our friends at
People
Crystal
that
Dynamics
want to
who
give
tried
me
to
help
do
when I
that.
didn't even
When a
ask
player
for
gets
it.
stuck on a level, like
Now
me,
I have
instead
a...
of grabbing a laptop or a phone, they just need to push the button on the Stadia.
This is ridiculous. Hi. Hi. How can I help? How do I beat this rudimentary, this easy fucking puzzle that I can't figure out because of my 200 of my pigeon fucking brain? Here is the top result.
Controller to get
Here,
help from the
I will
Google
backseat for you, baby.
No distractions. No need to take your eyes off the game.
Thanks,
no
Siri.
secondary
Fuck
devices
off.
Needed.
Now you can have a virtual backseater. Great. Let's make games a lot easier than they need to be.
With the games they
Fuck authentic gaming. Let's handhold the player now with a built-in feature.
To get to their favorite content and moments.
Unbelievable.
With Stadia, any link can be an access
I already have
point
enough
to the game.
backseaters from streaming
So for a
live on
developer,
Twitch.
The entire. I'm also thrilled to announce that today we are forming Stadia Games and Entertainment, which will build experiences designed exclusively for Stadia as Google's own.
Okay, so this is an
first-party
interesting
games
part of the press conference because not only are they creating a new platform, but apparently Stadia itself is now a developing company of video games. So they're going to be creating games exclusive to Stadia. And so, I mean, I'm guessing that most of these games made by the Stadia in-house game dev are going to be casual, catering to the filthy masses of gamers, like the guy at the beginning of the video, the Indian guy claiming that he only played FIFA 2019, which is a video game based off of a real life sport, not a real game. Okay, but maybe they'll create some decent games that can compete with other AAA developers. That would be interesting to see, because if they don't see, if they can create games that are appealing to hardcore gamers, then there is potential for Stadia to be a successful product and platform. So, you know, they're going to have to deliver if they really want Stadia to sell as a subscription-based service, kind of like Netflix, right? Netflix with its Netflix originals.
And we've recently been joined by one of the industry's most successful executive producers to lead that organization. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the new head of Stadia Games and Entertainment, Jade Raymond.
Jade Raymond. So I believe Jade Raymond Jade Raymond, I believe, worked for Ubisoft in the past, if I'm correct. She's
Thank you, Phil.
Pretty notorious
Thank you,
figure in
I am so honored
in
to
gaming
be here at the unveiling
development.
of Stadia. In my career, I've been lucky enough to work with some of the most talented and passionate developers in the world. Passion is at the root of all great games, and it's what motivated me to join Google. What I love about
what motivated me to join Google is for that big bag of money, though. Let's be honest.
What a game is. When I was 12,
that big old bag of moolah.
And even though the games I played at the time were side-scrolling, pixel-based kind of games like Mega Man, it was obvious to me that one day games would take place in fully
I like her jacket,
immersive
though.
worlds.
I'm wearing a jacket.
Today,
Yellow.
There are no limits to the human imagination. Now that the data center
no limits to the human
is your
imagination to the
platform,
point that there are
the processing
disturbing
power
websites
is
out there
limitless
that
as well.
feature deplorable, obscene
I'm excited to announce
fiction pornography.
as the head
Like Google technology, like Google Assistant, ML.
Yeah, where's
and
Google
TensorFlow,
Plus on here?
you
Oh,
will be
it's
able
not
to
there because
deliver
it's
your games
not.
to
It's
more
being
gamers across the
underutilized.
globe through Chrome,
Surprise, surprise.
Chromecast, and I'm thrilled to announce that Stadia is launching this year, 2019.
Sometime in 2019. With a delay coming up that'll push the platform a year later or a couple of years later,
We will launch
launching
first in the US,
on
Canada,
a
the UK,
non-specific
and most
window
Europe.
of time.
It's been my
The future of gaming is not in a box, it's a place. Except the internet and the cloud platform is only capable of being used through a device, which is technically a box. My computer is a box. Stadia, hello? That is it. That was our deep analysis of the Stadia new platform announced by Google at the Game Developers Conference. Honestly, I don't know. It's still in its experimental phase, right? It's not very concrete. They haven't. So the things I'm thinking about, the things that I'm wondering about the Stadia service are, number one, the pricing. How much is this going to cost? Is it going to be like Netflix, $15 a month? Or will it be noticeably more expensive, like $60 a month? And the pricing, I am also wondering if the games that are going to be partnered with Stadia are going to be free or included, not free, but included, or if there are separate purchases like on Steam, right? On Steam.com, Steam being a store and also a cloud library service, software, you have to buy the game before you're able to play it, and you have to install it. But on Stadia, you can play it right off the bat without installing it because you use your bandwidth to output the game. And so they also save your game on the cloud-based service, which is great in combination with the cloud the lack of installment. I think Stadia is a pretty cool concept, but the execution is what matters to me. So yeah, the pricing is what I'm wondering about, what the subscription model is going to look like, and whether or not the games included are going to be included, like free to play, or and if the developers are getting a cut from Stadia subscriptions, or if we would have to separately buy the game and have like a payment window open upon clicking a game through a YouTube trailer, like the Assassin's Creed trailer that we were shown. And another thing I'm wondering is the input lag, right? What is the difference in input lag, and if it's really noticeable and if it's really detrimental to the gaming experience, or if it's very minimal and almost at the level of computers. So that's really important to me, input lag, especially for FPS games. That should be pretty obvious that people who play a lot of FPS really care about input lag, and you know, the registering time of actions has to be matching what is shown on your screen at a given moment. And then the third thing I'm wondering about is how smooth and seamless the experience is going to be felt depending on the ISP. Again, like versus Google Fiber versus Comcast, for example. Would both have about the same experience? Probably not, because Comcast, like I said, has a tendency of throttling your bandwidth if you're an American consumer of Comcast. And if you're forced to, like, let's say you don't have Google Fiber in your area, what the fuck are you supposed to do, right? So that's another aspect of Stadia that I'm a little skeptical about. I like the thing that they talked about regarding YouTube gaming and how they are creating a program that will allow gaming-based content creators, live streamers on YouTube to reap benefits, right? To get a better financial support, right? And not solely rely on whatever other method there is out there. A lot of content creators don't even stream, right? They rely on ad monetization, which, like I said earlier, is pretty insignificant. So that's a positive aspect for Stadia for me personally. And then online play is also what I'm, wondering is, like, online play could be a disaster. If you include a lot of players in one online game on Stadia, people could have different bandwidths. And I'm also wondering if, Stadia consumers are going to be able to play with people that don't have Stadia. That's another point that I didn't even think of until now is, let's say League of Legends wants to be affiliated with Stadia. Would everyone be able to play together, right? Regardless of whether they're a consumer of Stadia or not, probably, but I don't know. There are a lot of questions about the Stadia platform, and I don't want to get I'm not too excited about it. I'm not excited because it is an idea that is already in progress, and it sounds like they're already building infrastructures, data centers for Stadia, dedicated ones around different parts of the world. But like I said, Google Fiber, being an existing internet provider, a fresh one, is not available in every state in America, not everywhere in the globe. So, the technology of Stadia, like I said, is not matching the requirements for internet bandwidth, and internet is not quite there. It is not on a worldwide level. Internet is still having issues, and every provider provides different rates of download upload rates. So, this is an appealing idea to the masses, to the people that are casual gamers. People that don't play a lot of games might be interested in this. Consumers of Google products that have a tablet, a phone, people that have a lot of money that can afford high bandwidth internet and multiple devices like the 4K television and a tablet and this and that. People with a lot of disposable income. But Stadia, I don't think, is for everyone yet. Not for hardcore gamers that care about input lag. Not for people that play a lot of online games. It's for people that want to, play a little bit and then move on, and that don't want to dedicate their time and money into building a decent PC rig or buying a PS4 Pro like they showed on the screen. And they did point out that Stadia has better teraflops GPU functionality than other consoles. So, Google is really pushing to be the next big gaming platform with Stadia. But, it's all about the execution. Like a lot of people said on Twitter and Reddit, we'll see until it comes out. And we don't have a specific date yet, so it'll take some time before we hear from it, and hopefully it won't be delayed. But, Stadia could either be a disaster or the complete opposite. A very, very solid platform for people to be utilizing. And we're seeing a lot of platforms rising. I don't think Stadia is the only one that's trying to compete. I mean, we have the Epic Game Store now buying out developers that are making their games exclusive now and removing their games from Steam. So we're seeing a lot more competition on gaming in the games industry overall. So there's a lot of excitement in technology. A lot of skepticism too, because we're transitioning to new heights of gaming development. So I think Stadia will be on my radar, but it's not something that I don't think it's something that I will really want to get unless it is exceptionally well done. And as a content creator who streams a lot on Twitch, I don't even know if I could use Stadia and stream at the same time, and if the stream quality could be maintained at a constant level while using Stadia. It's just a lot of bandwidth. Like, imagine being a content creator, not just a consumer, but a content creator that puts out live content and using Stadia, which relies solely and purely on your bandwidth. Imagine that on top of having to upload the broadcast to YouTube. It's a lot. It's a lot of bandwidth. So there's a lot of things to consider. But I think Stadia is a neat idea. But, you know, we'll see. We'll see until it comes out. But thank you for tuning in on this video. I hope you enjoyed this little format. It's a bit different from the usual content that I do. If you enjoyed this, make sure to, you know, leave a like, a comment. I would really like some interaction in the comment section. Otherwise, I'm going to go ahead and head off. If you haven't already, please check out our Twitch channel over at twitch.tv/IcyVolk for live gaming content. We have been playing Darkest Dungeon lately. We play variety content. Otherwise, you can go to soundcloud.com/IcyVolk for gaming-based journalistic audio blogs. We have our own talk show series titled Power Up, which where we sit down and investigate new gaming developments. If you would like to support this, go to patreon.com/IcyVolk for $1 a month. That is all I require. Of course, it's not mandatory. All of this content is not gated. It is free to browse, free to watch. So any Patreon support is immensely appreciated. With that said, though, I'm signing off. Your shit lord. We'll see you next time. Take care. Goodbye.